we have a new climate change record being broken. Of course, I do not mean that in a good way. It's breaking a record in a bad way. The World Meteorological Organization is reporting today that, quote, atmospheric volumes of greenhouse gas hit a record in 2013 as carbon dioxide concentrations grew at the fastest rate since reliable global records began. Wow. So, it's unfortunate to say it, but it's true. We can't say we didn't think something like this was going to happen, because it seems like every single year we're reading more and more headlines and experiencing more and more weather that lines up with the climate, in the sense that there's more extreme events happening on a regular basis, there's more drought, there's more wildfires, there's more famine, so on and so forth. So here we have some long-term data and some detailed information that's saying, in fact, yes, that's true, that it's getting a lot worse. Quote, past, present, and future CO2 emissions will have a cumulative impact on both global warming and ocean acidification. The laws of physics are non-negotiable. We are running out of time. Now, that's a quote from the World Meteorological Organization, an official at the World Meteorological Organization, saying, all right, time to stop fucking around. The laws of physics are non-negotiable. We are running out of time. That's bone-chilling. Because remember, when you're talking about scientists and researchers, they're known for only speaking in empirical terms. They don't like to exaggerate. They're not me. They're not talk show hosts. They're not entertainers. What they do is they base their opinions and discuss the hardcore data and the raw information. And they're sounding the alarm. They're saying, okay, guys, time to panic. So what are the specific numbers? Quote, the volume of carbon dioxide, or CO2, the primary greenhouse gas emitted by human activities, was 396 parts per million in 2013, 2.9 parts per million higher than in 2012, the largest year-to-year increase since 1984, when reliable global records began. So again, there's another record for you. The largest increase of greenhouse gases in terms of parts per million since reliable records have began in 1984. Keep denying it if you want to, but you're hurting us all if you do that. And they also say, quote, the second most important greenhouse gas, methane, continued to grow at a similar rate to the last 5 years, reaching a global average of 1,824 parts per billion. Now, on the issue of methane, that may be even scarier, because when the ocean acidifies and methane plumes are released, so like the ocean bubbles and then the methane gas gets in the air, that's a way more powerful greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. And at that point, according to a lot of scientists, there's going to be a runaway warming effect. At that point, it's irreversible. The damage is done. Once the oceans acidify and the methane bubbles start to come up from the ocean, it's game, set, match on humanity, and we're talking about an extinction event. Now, to be clear, extinction events are not like what you see in a cheesy 1990s apocalypse movie. It's not like overnight everybody dies. No, I think it's defined as when up to 50% of a given population dies over an extended period of time. I don't know how long a period of time, but that's what we're looking at when we talk about the scenario of the methane bubbles being released in the ocean. So, yes, be afraid, be very, very afraid. And what other news came out this month? 500 methane leaks were discovered off the east coast of the U.S. You want to shove your head in the sand? Be my guest, but you're wrong. That's the only way to describe it. That's the only way to put it. You're wrong. And a lot of people think this is an academic issue and they don't understand the nuance and the detail of it. But to make it as simple as possible, what you have to worry about with climate change is going to directly affect you. So, for example, increased droughts, increased famine as a result of the droughts. The Midwest of the United States, they're running out of water. Okay, now some people say, well, it's okay because when they run out of water, because a lot of them get their water from fresh water off the mountaintops, the snow-capped mountaintops. When there's no snow caps on the mountaintops, where the fuck are you going to get your water from? So people say, it's okay, we'll go underground. There's some underwater deposits, underground deposits of water. Turns out what happened with that water? Fracking got to it because of the Halliburton loophole, as it's called. Fracking wastewater is dumped underground, and those water reserves underground are donezo. They're gone. So the Midwest in the U.S., they're running out of water. We're all going to be struggling with famine at some point because of these massive droughts and the continued warm weather and the climate going in the wrong direction. So for those of you who think, whatever, it's just like the sea level's going to rise like 3 inches and who gives a fuck, I don't live on the water anyway. Yeah, you're totally wrong. That's not all you have to worry about. It's definitely going to affect you. And if it doesn't affect you directly, well, we're certainly getting it to the point where it's going to affect our grandkids or their grandkids directly.